to actually do. And also I'll have you guys all like do a quick introduction, but you guys can each introduce yourself a little bit too.
I didn't write that down, Heather.
All right. Okay. All right. Hello, Heather and Jamie. I am so excited to have you guys on. I know this one has been a while in the making, trying to get three different schedules all set up and, connected in this time and place. So I'm so excited to have each of you on officially for a lunch and learn. I just adore both of you. And I adore what you guys do with Conquer, especially. So if you could just, maybe we'll start with Jamie. Um, Go ahead and introduce yourself and then, yeah, tell us a little bit about who you serve in your own business and then also tell us a little bit about Conquer. And then, Heather, you can do the same.
Sure. Hi, everybody. I'm Jamie Fisher. I have a business with Heather, and we each have our own. So I am a photographer and educator based out of Pennsylvania, and I serve all photographers who are kind of getting ready to go into that next step. So we are working on making sure that there's a solid foundation. We're building everything for your legacy that you leave and that you're building. And then I am the co-host of Conquer Live. Well, I guess the Conquer community with lots of events, Conquer Live being one of them. And Heather and I started the Conquer community in 2020, all off of offering just like facilitating a free way for all of us to get together during a time when nobody could work. And we were all kind of like antsy little creatives that had to sit on our hands. That has now evolved into multiple events per year, and bi-weekly we are meeting with photographers and other educators in the industry that we soon found out have the same similar drive and heart to feed this industry that we love.
Well done. Ditto to her. Just kidding. I'm Heather, the other half of the Conquer community. On my own, I have Heather Marie Photography, and so I photograph wedding and seniors, and then I also educate photographers on tax prep because as a creative, most photographers do not like numbers and would rather not touch their tax numbers. And so I want to find a way to streamline that process for them so that they can relax throughout the year, have a system in place, and then when tax season comes around, they can just know that their numbers are ready to go to send off to their accountant or CPA. And then, yeah, Jamie nailed it with the Conquer community. We are so excited to just be able to pour into other photographers because we know how much it was when other photographers poured into us when we started out. And we just want to create a community where people can feel safe and loved and get answers so that they can move past those hurdles that are keeping them stuck in their business.
And you guys truly build just a beautiful community. It's such a great community. Um, Having attended Conquer Live and spoken there, it's, I know you guys are making changes, so I don't know like how things are going to change moving forward, but it just is so loving. Like you get there and everyone is so just immediately open to helping each other. And I love the way you guys really have speakers and attendees pour into each other. Like I feel like I also learned from attendees and there are so many that I'm still connected with and it's been, well, I guess only over a year. I was thinking I spoke in 2023, but I guess it was 2024, but almost a year and a half later and it's just, man, what a community you guys build and it's just you've done such a great job of bringing in people who truly pour into each other both ways, both the speakers and the attendees.
If things are changing. That part is not changing. Let's just say.
If. Okay, cool, cool.
That is all staying the same.
Perfect. Good. Okay. I just, I never want to be like, this is definitely how it's gonna be if you buy a
We
ticket, then
hope
it
that's
not be
how it
that.
will always be.
Perfect. Okay. No, I'm sure the community will always be that way. But man, the way you've set up the conference is so unique to others. I don't know if you guys want to speak to that and share more about what your vision behind that was or how that came to be.
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead, Jamie.
I'm like, when it's two of us, what do we do? We'll
How
just
do you
I'm so
tag
excited.
team?
all right. Well, we can like we'll just like piggyback
Tag
off
team.
one
Yep.
another. We'll like start from the beginning, but the idea of kind of getting everybody together truly came from, and I think that speaks to just what you were just saying about how the community is and how they all feed each other. We all want each other to win. Doesn't matter what your role is in the community, educator, attendee, student, teacher, whatever, it doesn't matter. And I think at its core, the reason that that part is so strong is because that's where all of it was born. Those those calls that we had in Clubhouse where that started was everybody helping one another. Like, where's the gap in your business? Where have you struggled before? How can I help? Everybody has different strengths, and so we saw this just like naturally forming, where everyone was willing to pour into one another. And then the requests started coming, and people were more interested. We saw relationships building, and they were interested in like, hey, how can we meet up? Like, who all is in this state or whatever. And we realized we're kind of peppered all throughout. I mean, we stretched from Arizona, East Coast, West Coast, like we were all there. We even had people from Australia like coming into those calls, which was really fun too. And I'm trying to think of some of the other, we had somebody in Europe that was a pretty like regular
Oh,
person.
yeah.
And Heather loved all of the accents that we got. It was
My
really,
favorite.
really fun. But truly like a way to unite. And so when we saw those requests coming of like, hey, we really want to meet, and Heather's like, could we do this? Like, is this something, we can facilitate? And so that's kind of where the Conquer Live event began. And the only goal that Heather and I had was to take all of the magic that was already happening from the community on these calls and just bringing it in person. And so I think it was really like a beautiful thing that Heather and I were both surprised by. It was not, on our bingo card. And it kind of just formed. And so that, I think, is just one of the most like unique aspects of this event, is because it came from the community, by the community, and we're just taking feedback year after year and kind of making it into what it is today.
Um, I love it. And then when we actually did have Conquer Live, some of the features or like parts of it that have continued to grow from those virtual calls is that we really want to keep it a small, intimate space. And so we do a 2-to-1 ratio. We don't have more than 20 attendees, which means we could have up to 10 educators. And we love that because it allows them to not feel like they have to stand in line to talk to one educator and wait 10 minutes to ask one little question that may not even be beneficial. We want them to be able to sit down, open up their laptops with educators, and get things done while they're on or while they're at Conquer Live before they go home and get back into their life or be with their kids and not be able to implement it right away. So not only do we have that 2-to-1 ratio, but we also provide implementation time, dedicated time for them to get those things checked off, ask the questions that they truly need answered for their business, so that when they leave on Sunday, they've already checked some things off their list and can feel confident going into the next week or the next month in their business. We also love that it's dedicated or always planned to be during January, so that people can be dedicated to working on the back end of their business most often because it's off season. And so that gives them the time to work on these things that we're going over through those different talks, so that they have the time before busy season gets picked up and they push it off and have to edit, have to communicate with their clients. This is the time where they can really dedicate to doing that too.
And I love that you guys, with that 2-to-1 ratio, you've made it so intentional that every attendee gets some one-on-one time with every educator. But then you also have this built-in time where it's kind of just like free for all, work on something. And what's beautiful about that is because you've already gotten that one-on-one time with all the educators, the attendees are then comfortable grabbing someone and going, hey, I have more questions for you, or hey, can you walk me through this? Versus there's none of that intimidation, not that there ever should be, but I think sometimes we like see speakers and we're like, oh, we're intimidated.
Mhm.
And like, no, like they're doing the same thing you are, right? They're walking the same journey right alongside you. Um, but everyone's so comfortable going, hey, I could really use your eyes on this. Could you come look at it? And so those relationships blossom so naturally, and it's so beautiful to watch. I can just remember like looking around the room and being like, man, everyone is just so interconnected. There is no divide between speaker and attendee. It's just everyone's helping each other, and it was so cool to see.
One of my favorite moments every year is just standing back and looking at educators and attendees and two educators with four attendees. And I love the magic that happens during those moments where we just kind of get to step back and let people work on what they really need to work on.
It truly is magical, and you guys have done such a great job
I
cultivating
think
that.
I feel like that is a testament to the types of educators that are there, because there are certainly educators that um, you know, there could be a plethora of different reasons as to why they're gravitating towards different events that they choose to speak at and how they educate. But the status quo that we have seen is there's a very big separation. They are usually held to kind of like a celebrity status. And like Heather mentioned, you're standing in line just to get a picture. Maybe you get to ask a question. But the majority of what you're going to these types of events for is, what the talks are on the stage. And like anything else is just extra, but definitely you can't expect anything else from that. Whereas we have totally stripped away those, and every educator that steps into that house for the weekend, they have already made the commitment to you. They've made the commitment to, lay down not their accolades, because these are people that are very skilled in what they do and they can bring a ton of value and just jumpstart, you years ahead in your business. So I don't mean to like discredit that, but they're kind of just breaking down the wall so that they're more approachable, and that we're just going to get all of these like this nervous energy out of the way immediately. Like we're hugging as soon as we come in the door. And so we're doing fun activities together just to like even break them down more. And it seems like everyone that has come to these events in the creative industry is also pretty dang competitive. And so things like games really help with that. And it just like you see the connections happening well before we get into any work. And then it's like, okay, we can breathe. We're not nervous just to say hi. And then, let's take off. Let's see what we can do here. So
Yeah,
I just want to thank everyone who has been a part of any round of Conquer Live, because it wouldn't happen if we didn't have people like you there.
very true. Well said.
Um, I also think the fact that everyone is in one house
Mhm,
is so the fact that you keep it small, like you're doing life together for that entire weekend. Like the
mhm.
educators cook breakfast for the attendees one morning. And you see like you just see everyone in like various states of their day. Like I can remember like walking out one morning and Kay is like in a robe still and like passed out on the couch because it's too early for her, right? Like, like everyone is just so human. And the way you guys have set up the weekend it just highlights that and really, like you said, breaks down that wall. So, what I would love to chat about first is how, as an attendee of a conference, how can you make the most of your time? Because we've all had those conferences where we go and it's amazing and we're super hype and we come home on this high. And then the high wears off and you're like, but what do I do next to actually move my business forward? Like, I've got a ton of notes, maybe, or maybe I didn't even have a ton, but like, I just don't know what's the next step. What do you guys suggest for attendees to really make the most of an investment you're making in a conference?
I have like four. Okay. I have two. Jamie, I'm sorry if I steal one of yours. Just yell at me.
Oh, you're fine. I've got our
Um,
whole list. Go
Oh, I
download.
love it.
True.
Go
Good.
download our freebie first of all.
He's both really excited. Okay, first one is make sure you go into the weekend or the conference, whenever it is, with something as your main goal of what you want to get accomplished. Whether it's, I want to go talk to this one person to help my business grow, or I have a question and I'm stuck somewhere. I need to make sure I go ask that question to the right person. Pick the one thing that if you don't get anything else out, which we hope you get a ton out of every conference that you go to. But the most important thing, pick what that is, figure out who it is there that you want to talk to ask the question, and then make sure you make the time to go ask it. Don't be nervous. Just go and ask the question, because I bet you the person you're going to ask it to is happy to help you and wants you to be able to move forward in your business. So that's one. And then the other one,
Wait, before we go into two,
yeah, great.
can we back that up a little bit? Because I feel like this is always something that I go into conferences like I need to have one thing in mind. But then I never sit down and actually decide what my one thing
Oh.
is because I'm so, and I don't know, maybe that's just me. I don't know if other people feel that way too, but I'm like, but what is my one thing? How do I decide what my one thing is? Do you
Mm.
have any tips for that?
I love
Oh,
it.
that's
So
good.
for our attendees, we actually give them some questions to like prompt them. Maybe it's like looking at your numbers and seeing where something may be lower than you want it to be. Or maybe it's a system that you have broke that you're stuck with. It's taking that time, maybe the week before or 2 weeks before, and actually look at your business and see what's something that's a pain point to you, something that you keep ignoring and pushing off, or something that you wish could be higher, like for example, like social media, and you wish you could have more interactions or engage with more people. Whatever that one thing is that pops up into your head when you're looking over your business, which you need to take the time the week before and give yourself an hour or two that all you're doing is looking at your business and seeing where it can grow. That will help you figure out what that one question is. But yeah, like Amanda said, you have to take the time to actually look at it and not like be on the airplane and be like, oh, maybe, like what's my one thing that I'm going to ask? Because that's when you're going to get that surface level question. You really want to dive into your own business during that time. Jamie, go
But
ahead.
that's not as much fun as like picking out your outfits.
So true.
Your
I get
walkaway
that.
goal is now you have to set it before you pick out your outfits. That's your
Mhm.
motivator to be
Ooh,
able
we
to
love
allow
Love
it.
it.
yourself to pick out your
That's
outfits.
great.
You're like, what's the walkaway goal that makes this
Love the
event worth
outfits.
it? That is funny though.
Okay, my number two, and then I'm gonna give Jamie the reins, is like we kind of have mentioned, utilize and take the biggest advantage of that downtime in between talks. Late at night, you might be so tired and just want to go to your bed, or you're an introvert and you just don't know how to like go up and talk to someone. Get out of your comfort zone and go do it during this time, because I can't express to you how much I have learned during those times, or just met someone that I didn't know what they did, and then they were able to benefit my business both as an educator or as an attendee several years ago, that I literally never would have known of or never knew who they were until I went to that couch and sat down and talked with someone. Like, take advantage of those times because you just don't know what magic is going to come from it.
Listen, I feel
Yeah.
attacked. I don't like that one.
Get out of your bed, Amanda.
You might not like it, but do you agree?
Sometimes.
Hey, we've been to conferences with you and you have done amazing. I don't feel like you go into a little hole or and crawl back into your hotel room, so you're doing
Oh my
good.
gosh. It's so funny. That was like my only feedback to you guys. After that, I was like, I'm so tired as an introvert.
I just want to
And
nap.
I don't understand how Heather has so much energy because she doesn't drink coffee. And it makes no sense.
True.
Anyways,
I don't know
no,
either.
that's
The water.
it's really good invite. Honestly, like you guys have been to Creative Educator Conference. Like I always skip dinner. That's everyone's favorite thing is like, oh, let's go have dinner afterwards. So I'm like, no, I'm gonna go nap so that I can do the late night lobby chats because
Mm.
that's where the magic happens is those like just chilling
Mhm.
kind of. So like,
Yep.
yeah, making sure you're intentionally, even if you're introverted and you like your alone time, making sure you're intentional about like planning that in is such great advice.
Also, like,
Mhm.
just remember, like, okay, Monday, if it's a weekend thing, or the day after, put that on your calendar and know that that's a day that you're not going to talk to anyone. Like, then you can be the full introverted self. But during these 2 days, tell yourself you are going to be on and you're going to be an extrovert, even though you're not. But, like, know that, okay, if I do these 2 days, my next day, I can be quiet and not talk to anyone
Yeah.
and pull a cover
Or the
over.
next like 3 days to
Oh
regard.
yeah, whatever you need. Just write it on your calendar and don't plan anything. Do it maybe a week. Who knows?
Maybe
I was
so.
gonna say, even I do that. I block off the day before and the day after of nothing because you just like you have to decompress and you have to digest everything that happened too. Whether you're able to, turn it on fully or be intentional about when you're taking your breaks, you still just overloaded your brain. Whether you came as an educator or an attendee, like your
Mhm.
brain is full. You have that entrepreneurial spirit where you're just like firing off what's happening. Sorry, that was probably very not good for a mic to be snapping my fingers.
I didn't hear you.
Totally fine.
But You just need like that time. So that's awesome. All right, Heather picked two. Am I picking two?
Sorry, I
We
don't
have
know.
we
Pick
do
as
have
many as you want.
I'm like,
Yeah,
we
let
do
me.
have a full list. So Heather and I came up with this. These are like small, one of the small tweaks that we do like year after year just to support, our people. And then we also made it into a free resource that you can download, which is just like your conference success guide. So it's a whole packing list, which is awesome. But then my favorite part is this success sheet inside that is like this list of questions of kind of like, if you can answer these, I don't even know if it's like 10, it looks about 10. Um, but if you sit down and answer these, like, oh yeah, good, 10. Like
I
Heather
didn't
had
know we did
mentioned,
that.
set aside that hour and you go through and answer these, then like, okay, cool. I have this filled out. I am ready to go. Then when I get there, you're not scrambling and like trying to figure this out and then walk away feeling like, what did I even invest in? You know what I mean? That's part, to me, that's part of the investment is it's not just financial. You also need to set yourself up for success. So answering these questions is part of, the investment step. But one of the things I'll do like a more practical thing so that I can hit like multiple personality types. And then I'll do like a different one, a different way of thinking about it. But number one, I think that helps regardless of what stage you're at is pulling any stats in your business that you are tracking, want to track, or are related to whatever your goal is because numbers don't lie and you need to know what they are. Number one, that might help you if you're somebody that is terrified of numbers and are like kind of avoiding looking at it. Number two, it's going to help you just zero in on where you are, even if you just looked at them 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean? Let's really sit down, identify some trends. Or if you don't know how to view your numbers, you have them all, you're taking them with you, and somebody who is much more experienced can look at them and say, okay, this is what's happening, or this is what I see based on my experience. So that's one
Mhm.
of them. And the other one is it kind of like helps in this vein of someone who may not actually know what the numbers are trying to tell them. And I like to write this statement of how I want to feel 12 months from now. And I think that can help you with a lot of things. If people don't know what goal to set, what they really need help in, if they don't know what these numbers are telling them, if you write that statement in how you want to feel in your business, then we can reverse engineer that and say, okay, well, this is how we get there. And it's all about talking with experts that are willing to pour into the industry. But I guarantee if you write that one sentence and go in and share that, you're going to walk away with a plan no matter what event you go to. But you have to be really intentional any room that you walk into.
Yeah. Man, that makes me want to just go do that, like with my husband and be like, in life in general. Like I just like I feel like there's so many places that's applicable.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Amazing. So on the other side of things, attendees are ready. They know how they're going to get the most out of it. How do speakers come in and get the most out of conferences that they're speaking at?
Mm. Okay, Jamie, you can go first. I'll wait.
Like writing on our notes sheet. I'm like, Heather's going first again.
Trying to be nice. I started. You go this time. I'm trying to be polite here.
Oh, that's funny. Okay. How can they get the most out of the event when they're at the event? Is that your
Mhm.
question?
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when educators come in, this is also, I think, an opportunity because unless you're part of a mastermind or something like that, where you are intentionally getting together with these educators, you aren't around other people at your level or above on the regular. And so this is also
Mhm.
an opportunity for you. Obviously, first priority is what you signed up for, right? Serving the attendees that are there. Um, but you're also around all of these other brilliant minds. And so I would again kind of go back to that list as an educator and say, okay, where are the holes in my business or what do I, want to do? Look at the other educators that you're going to be with and just, sit down like and actually I'm going to backtrack. Instead of like going to that list, there is one specific one on there where I would say have intentionally what oh, I'm so sorry, that was my bad, have the conversation that you want to have, write that down, who you want to have it with, one conversation that you want to have, because obviously you don't want to hijack the situation that you're in and everybody is there to talk to and build one another up. But just have one conversation that you want to have before you leave, and then look for when that time is appropriate, and kind of gather your fellow educators around, because we saw so much magic happen with educators pulling around each other. It was way late. We were like ready to go to bed. And all of a sudden, there's like five educators all kind of crowding around their laptops. Um, something to the tune of midnight. And they are just, I mean, it was really crazy to just overhear a conversation where they're like, and have you thought about this? Or do you use this? Like everybody is just amped and excited for that one person. And that's like, I think that's just what is so great about being in person at these events. Um, it's just like the unplanned things that happen, there will always be a time for something. So if you can go in a little bit more intentional with the conversation you want to have, there's going to be people there that can help you.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, mine. I think for educators, this is a way to get you out of your comfort zone. When you go and attend, don't just go and hang out with other educators. Now, do the thing that Jamie said and pick one and make sure you get that, but don't only hang out with educators because there's two kind of parts to it. One, and we heard this from a lot of our educators at Conquer Live, attendees, especially in their like first 5 years of business, just have some extra energy and excitement to just grow their business and see what's happening to it, that sometimes as we get farther in our years, we could lose that a little bit because we're just kind of like going through the system or we have stuff laid out and figured out. But I don't know how many educators we heard be like, I just got so excited for my business after coming to Conquer Live because the attendees were so excited for what they got to do this next coming year. And so it just kind of is like a full circle. Like, go be with the attendees because they're the ones who have the crazy ideas or just aren't afraid to try something. And it could just spark or burst something in you that makes you want to do something new too for your business. And then the other side of that is we're educators, not to like sugarcoat it or hide it. We want to be able to sell our products if we have stuff in our shop or have new students in our mastermind. And so being with those attendees and you just being there to help them and give them free advice and tear down the walls and show them your business is going to make them trust you and potentially even get some other products or services with you later on down the road. So don't just do it for that and all about the money, like truly just be with them and help them, but it can come full circle and help you out too that way.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, this is the reality of owning a business, right? Like you have to think of those things. To your first point, this is actually something I've been reflecting on a lot lately, is just that, in those first few years, there's so much to learn. There's so much you could do. You're not set in any particular
Mhm.
path with your business yet. And I know, like, I can remember wanting to rush through that period. And I think a lot of
Mm.
newer business owners are like, I just want to be established. I just want to know what I'm doing. But looking back, there's something so beautiful of those first few years where you don't know what you're doing and you're just figuring it out. And there's so much of that excitement, like you said. And
Mhm.
anyways, that's something I've been reflecting on a lot lately. It's just, before things are dialed in, there's so much energy and so much excitement. And it is really refreshing to be around.
It's just like I have a 2-year-old, so I feel like it's very fresh on my mind. Like right now, my daughter Adeline does not know that you can get hurt by jumping off a wall, or she doesn't know that, I don't know, she should be scared of someone in her closet, whatever it is, because you don't watch the shows and you don't know about it. And that's how it is with businesses because you just don't know when you're starting a business. So you're like, let's just try everything. But now I find myself sometimes being like, oh, well, I could lose it all, or it could totally blow up and I make no money. And so I might not take the step to do it. But in the first years, I was like, I got nothing to lose. Let's go for it. And so I just love that energy that they have. And I just need to find more of it too. Like I'm
Yeah.
telling myself this, I'm tipping to you, but also giving myself a tip.
Well, it's so true. And also not even just the you could lose it all, but just time becomes more and more precious, I feel like the longer
True.
you're in business. And so you have these systems in place that you should have in place, but you get to a point where I'm like, oh, I could create a new freebie, but I don't need a new freebie. My time should be strategically better spent in this area, right? And so I think that's a large part of it too, is
Mhm.
you have a better idea of how you should be using your time and the best ways to use it. And I think I, in particular, I don't know about anyone else, but I get really stuck in that like time is limited. I need to use my time efficiently instead of let me play around in this thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So true.
Attendees could like hanging out with attendees though could also really help in that because if you think about when you actually created that offer that you currently have been, rinse and repeat because you have it on a system and good to go. And yes, you're tweaking and refining, but when you're in person having conversations where it's not just like a feedback form or whatever, but you're
Mhm.
actually talking about things, you could overhear conversations or be part of conversations where attendees are talking about an experience they went through, a course they bought, whatever it was, and you're hearing like the things that they like, the things they didn't like, and that could be totally different even though they are your same, demographic, your same key audience members that were maybe 5 years ago when you started that offer. That has shifted, people change and when more generations come up, they're learning things differently too. And so it's kind of like getting boots on the ground insider information. And you might have a really awesome idea based off of just what they're saying. So I really like it for that too, like get in it and really see, what they're wanting.
That's so true. Yeah, because we create these offers and we rinse and repeat as we should and we tweak, but then times change so rapidly lately in the last few years. It seems like where I've been thinking about this with my course content batching bootcamp that has been so successful since 2021. But times like I'm like, man, my sales page might need a total rehaul because things are so different and the way we view online marketing is so different
Mhm.
now than it was in 2021. And so yeah, getting to see those actual conversations in real time just I think would help highlight that so much and be a great insight to, you know, what is working right now and what are people actually worrying about right now versus what they were worrying about when you created an offer.
Mhm.
Yeah. So you guys have done I Conquer Live what 5 years now?
Yeah,
Oh, 2020. Yep.
3.
Oh, Conquer Live 3. Yes.
Three.
Conquer Community 5.
Okay.
Sorry.
So you're working on the fourth one,
Yeah.
which means you have gotten tons and tons, I probably hundreds of speaker applications. What do you guys look for in a speaker? Like how do you that process sounds so overwhelming to me. I can't even imagine all the work you guys put into choosing your
Mhm.
educators. But where do you even begin? What are the things that what's an automatic no? And what, I don't know if you have any automatic yeses, but what puts someone in the like top contender phase?
I think like first step, even before we like fully dive into all of our applications, and this comes back to what Conquer Community started as, we go to our attendees that will be there and ask them what they need help with and what they need to learn in their business for the next year or what their goals are for now 2026 because we do it in January every year. And we start there and then have a list of, okay, these are the subjects people really need help with, or that they're not able to find the education that they want. Let's find the speakers and start at least getting those ideas first before we even look at our applications.
Mm.
Yeah. So that in that part, it doesn't really help educators because it's
No,
based
no.
off of, with our specific event, just because we are so intentional about it. And so we are, we're like covering up the names. We're not even seeing, we're just
Hmm.
looking at what was pitched and does that align with what
Hmm.
our audience needs. Um, but I can say an automatic no. I'm
Okay,
like,
yes, let's
I'm
hear
so
it.
curious what this is going to be.
I can totally say an automatic no. So Heather and I, part of the application that we have is that everyone submits a video of what they are most excited to teach on.
Mhm.
That gives us a few key things that writing it in an application just does not.
Yep.
Um, so automatic no is if you do not submit one, which we have had. And I'm like,
Oh,
oh,
touche.
you're hurting my heart right now because like I want to look into each person and seeing if they're a good fit and like you're just not making that possible for me right now.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
to your point,
Also
Amanda,
following basic instructions. Like,
right. Like, I mean, to your point, we do receive an overabundance of educator applications. And there's not enough time to, this is going to sound harsh or however it sounds, but like, there's not enough time for us to dedicate to someone who didn't complete it.
Mhm.
It's like not putting your name on your homework. We've got to have all the pieces there. It's for a reason. It's not just to have a, you know, whatever 20-step application process. Like it is very intentional. Ours is not 20, by the way, but
No.
it is very
No.
intentional. And if you don't do it, like, sorry, we gotta go.
Mhm. I think
Gotta
another
go.
big thing for us that we're looking for is how you show up in that video. We want to be excited when we listen to you pitching your video so that we know that you're going to bring that excitement when you do your talk. If you're kind of just like, oh, my thing's on this and I do that, and yeah, if you want me, like, it's okay, like, great. Like, if you're not giving it to us and selling it and making it exciting, we're like, oh, I want to learn this. Even if I already know it, I want to hear what you have to say. Like that's what we want to see in those videos, which, like Jamie said, is so important. That's something we can't get from just the typing that you add in the application, which we have parts of that and we're able to get a little bit, but those videos are really important to us so that we can see who you are, your personality. We do a little vetting also on the back end, like looking on socials and where you've also spoke. But that is so important because we want you to be as excited as we want our attendees to be when you give the talk, when you pitch the talk.
wow, how you show up. That's so, I'm just thinking back to like the first one I did was probably so different to the most recent application video I sent.
Well,
I
and to be
probably was
clear,
trying to be so polished and like,
Oh,
and this
that's
one I was like, I have this idea and this idea and this idea. Like,
well, I was gonna
not at
say,
all.
to be clear, we're not saying you have to have a, professional video set
right.
up. Fine if you have it for like your own YouTube channel or whatever, but we're not looking at that. We're literally looking at how you're presenting,
Mhm.
how excited. I mean, that is the direction. Like,
Mhm.
what are you
Yeah.
most excited to teach on? And so
Mhm.
that's what we want to see.
Yeah, we've had like babies in application
Mhm.
videos. We've had dogs. Like we've had people doing it while they're walking. Like we don't care about the polishness because
I love
that's
it.
not you just being you. We want to see who you are and the excitement behind it.
Yeah.
That's us.
Okay.
I was
What
about
was
to
the
say that's like 100% like Heather's excited about everything, so that makes sense.
Not everything. Needles, no way. I would cry.
that was
I'm just gonna
random.
throw that out there. Not excited ever. Gone.
What was the we went to the like automatic no. What was the flip side of
Oh,
that you had
Oh,
asked?
oh man, I don't know. Oh, I
automatic
guess just what
Or
are
no.
you
some
looking for? What are some things that you
okay.
tend to look for? Yeah, I think,
Or if there's like do this and you're in.
yeah, I was like, I feel like there's probably not ever anything other than like you've got what people are asking for. Unless you do
Jamie,
have something that's like, this is a definite yes.
Jamie, whatever we say next year, all the applications are gonna
Are
have
gonna
it.
do it.
They listen to this
Like
video.
it can no longer be an automatic because you've
It's true.
outnumbered the amount we can have.
You must wear
It's
a blue
true.
shirt. I'm just kidding.
That's hilarious.
I think there's
Um,
for sure, for sure.
mm, no, I
Yeah,
don't
I
think
feel
it's
like
for
that's
sure.
hard.
I think the yes is a compilation of a few of them, but if you can, one of them you can't help because it needs to match what our audience is
Mhm.
directly saying. So, if you do your homework a little bit and look at our audience, I mean, actually you can help it to a degree in what your expertise is. And this just like popped in my head, but Heather and I still do those free coaching calls
Mm.
bi-weekly, and we have educators that are still pop in and give their free time. So if you are available every other Wednesday at 1 o'clock Eastern time, you can come in and you get to, again, hear from potential attendees' mouths what they're struggling with, what they're working on. And, you can connect with them on Instagram and look at their websites, and you can, with a trained eye, you can pretty much see, where you're able to help in there. And so that would be, some recon to do before you do your pitch. So there is a way.
And also a great way to just to pour into y'all's community. I mean, and be part of the community.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else that you would recommend speakers doing to prepare to apply, either to y'all's conference or any other conference?
First, I thought you were going to say prepare. Oh, sorry. Wait, can I
Go
say my
ahead.
funny thing for like 2 seconds? I thought she was going to say prepare to come to Conquer Live, and I was going to say sleep, but you said to apply, so that doesn't work. All right, Jamie, give the actual answer that we're going to say, and then I'll think of one too.
Sleep is so real though.
I thought that's what you were going with, and I'm like, duh, sleep, because it's not going to happen very much.
No, it won't.
That's at any event. Just be prepared.
Oh, for
be
sure.
on. I'm trying. There is, and I can't, it's not like jogging it in my brain, but one educator actually did that this year on their application. And it was totally, I can't remember how it was worded now, but it stuck out because everyone, when you're filling out all of these applications,
Oh.
you're answering the questions, right? But this one had taken one of our questions that we wrote, answered it, and then asked us a question in return of how they could serve our audience best. Is it our audience or us? Now I'm second guessing.
Us.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. If I'm thinking
Okay.
of the same thing, I'm pretty sure it was us.
Okay. Yeah. And it made, I mean, Heather and I sit there and we're going through, it's not to make anybody feel like a number, but we're going through a lot of them. And so you've got to stand out somehow.
Mhm.
And we have never received that question before. And it made us pause and we're like, oh, okay, like let's dive into this. And I was like, that makes us as hosts obviously feel really good. It makes us trust that person more because they're there for more than what we've already asked, simply just in an application. So
Mhm.
I think that like really stood out to me.
Mhm. I
Yeah.
think also just like being you in your application with so many AI things out there. So we have read through a lot of applications, and there's some things that we can pick up on that may not be truly like you just being you, or you're trying to like write the exact most perfect message possible. And sometimes that's not what we want. Like, we just want to know who you are because it's so important, especially at Conquer Live. Like, you are living in the house with them. And so we're not looking for the most polished and like professional person because we know how many different moments there are where you're not in that polished, I'm talking and speaking on stage, but you're like sitting on the couch or cooking breakfast. And that's really important for us, is to see all of who you are instead of just when you're on stage in the nice outfit with the slides behind you. Like, there is more than just that. And so I think that's something you can use at any conference that you apply for because they just want to know who you are. Don't try and make the perfect pitch. Obviously, make it good, but sprinkle in some of who you are. Like, if you love ice cream or if you love swimming, I don't know, whatever it is. Like, somehow there's a way you could like add a splash. I just thought of that. Look at me. I'm so glad you two laughed because I don't ever have those moments, but I just got one.
Oh my goodness.
Heather, you're so funny.
That's what you
Um,
guys can look forward to. Just kidding.
That's probably so
no,
cheesy.
but
I don't
actually,
ever do those. Not quick enough.
But you're right. That is how they can stand out too, showcasing your personality.
Yep.
Because you're not gonna stand out in, bullet points of a copy paste thing that you sent to, 10 different events.
Mm-mm.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, really taking time to individualize
Mm-hmm.
what you're sending
Mm-hmm.
each event, each application, each whatever you're filling out for speaking.
And do the research on the event so that you know what they do and what happens there so that you can best serve them too in what you're saying.
Yeah. It makes such a difference when you're like, I know what this event is about
Mm-hmm.
and who I'm helping, and you can just tailor the pitch so much. Yeah. Okay. So, other than Heather's love for cheesy jokes,
I'm so mad at them.
I feel like that is not the first cheesy joke I've heard out of your
It's
mouth.
probably so true. Ask my husband. I normally am the one that like sets people up for cheesy jokes, and then I'm like, oh, I wish I could have been that cool to get it.
Okay, actually, maybe that's what I'm thinking of, but I feel
See?
like that's just your like that's your energy. Um, Other than that though, what what can you tell us about Conquer 2026? What can attendees expect?
Dun, dun. Okay, dates. Dun. Our Conquer Live round 4 is going to be January 23rd to 25th. We start bright and early Friday and go till about lunchtime on Sunday. And then we also do an optional dinner that both educators and attendees are invited to. This is our first way of breaking down the walls because it is just dinner, you're sitting all mixed and mingled. You don't kind of know who everyone is unless you did a lot of research to figure out like who an attendee is versus an educator. But we just open it up to have a dinner together because, like you said, you become a family. We live under one roof, and this is our way to start it. So that would be on January 22nd in the evening. Oh,
Which
and the place. Jamie, I'm gonna totally take over.
what? The
What?
place what?
Oh, where it is? Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh,
I
okay.
got other stuff.
Okay, okay. And the place is Orlando, Florida, which we're so excited about. We have been south for the first 2 rounds, and then last year we went a little bit north and did like a cozy on the lake cabin feel. But now we're going back to Florida and the sun and the ocean and the beach and all the things. Yumminess. Okay, Jamie,
I lost my mind when you guys announced that. I was like,
we're
oh
so
my
excited.
gosh.
Palm trees, all the warmth.
Warmth in January. Oh
Yeah,
man.
important.
Sounds amazing.
When we release the photos, like it's
Ah,
gonna be awesome. What was I gonna say? Oh, okay. This is more about like the experience and one thing that is different that we have never done before. And I'm like very excited about this. But if you purchase a VIP ticket, it essentially adds on a bonus like VIP group think tank with educators. And this is what we saw, I kind of like alluded to it before with overhearing the educators, a small group of them, like just like pop, 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 pop. Here's
mhm.
all of these ideas. And now the attendees can get that before or after, depending if you were a previous attendee or not. But it's like an added day where it's just you and these educators in a small group. So, I mean, it's what you would naturally expect from kind of like a mastermind,
Mhm.
but someone could plot out, like you could walk in and not even have an email list and walk out with, a sequence and be all set up, ready to go. It's just, oh my gosh, I cannot wait for that. And then you get like other perks like priority lodging. You're for sure going to be in the same area as the educators, and you get all the talks on a private podcast too, which is awesome because then you can go back and listen to them after when you're decompressing and trying to sift through notes and all of that. You have all of the event talks in a recording, but that group like intensive, oh my gosh, I can't wait for it.
Wait, that's so cool because also with the breakout groups, you don't
Mhm.
get to hear every single talk. So then with the private podcast, you can actually hear all of them too.
Yep.
I like that. I like that a lot.
We just want
We
Yeah.
had
you
to
in.
pull in James and say, hey, what do we need to make this happen?
James is our
But
videographer, just so everyone knows.
yeah, he is the brains behind all of the tech that
Mhm.
makes any and all requests that we've had over the years happen. We're like, James,
Help.
we need this. How do we do it? What do we need to buy? You just tell us and set it up and we'll sign a check.
Mhm.
That's amazing. Are there um any other secrets that you can share yet
Oh,
about
Like,
2026?
what secrets does she want to know?
no.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just a suspicion.
Think we have any
My bad.
others? We are pretty pumped this year for our sponsor list that we have coming and the perks that they are going to be sprinkling throughout the entire weekend. This is the most we've ever had, and they are some amazing companies and photographers and educators that we love and have gotten things from or utilize right now in our businesses. And so we cannot wait for our attendees to get to see them as well and just learn about all of those different things too. So that's like a little one. We won't tell you who yet. We can't give it all away, Amanda, but those are some good perks that are coming that haven't been in the last couple years.
Okay. I don't know if I
I
can
could say
ask.
two
Well,
things without
oh,
telling you who they are,
Oh,
but
sugar.
just like that is exciting.
I'm listening.
One of them on our call, Heather and I were basically like jumping up and down on this conversation because they were even more excited, if you can imagine, about our theme night, like our theme dinner night. The first question was just like, what can we get? Like, what do we need to
What
make
all
this
can we do?
epic? Like, yeah.
that's cool.
Um, so I felt like half the conversation was literally just about like swag and like what could be what could be implemented on this theme. So the fact that someone that's sponsoring the event is even, you know, as hyped as us about the theme thing, I mean, they were like, we're stealing that. Nobody else is, that's ours. So that was really exciting. And then one of our other sponsors is someone who I don't think a lot of people know, but they have a killer concept of, and I'm trying to figure out how to say this, of an
Careful,
offering
Jamie.
that really helps photographers in something that they despise collectively, that we have continuously heard over the past few years. It's like a staple pain point. And the solution that this company has, I can't wait to see what people do with it because it's game changer.
I feel like this needs to, like, we're gonna follow up with this, be like, if you are the first person to guess who it is. She gave the most vague answer of what it could be. If you are the first one, you get, I don't know what, but we're not actually doing it. That's what it felt like.
Guess in the comments right now.
Yeah, right? We want to hear.
Um, I I don't know if I'm allowed to ask this or not, but I'm going to.
We can always
Like you can ask, we may not answer.
Yep.
Well, so when I was there in 2024, I keep wanting to say 2023. I don't know why.
It's a January
2024,
Because
thing.
you thought about it in 23 more than
It
you thought
trips
about
you
it in
up.
24.
maybe. Yeah, I don't know. It also that whole like end of 2023 to like
Mm,
mid 2024 is a blur in my mind because that's
fair.
when we were like moving across the country in chaos and buying a house sight unseen and things like that. But anyways, rabbit hole. Um, 2024 when I was there, it seemed like, and I could be misremembering this, so correct me if I'm wrong, but it seemed like every attendee got some kind of prize from a
Mm,
sponsor. Is that, am I misremembering that? Is
you're not.
that,
You're
No,
not
uh,
that's
okay.
misremembering. And some got
Okay.
two. So you're right on.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. I
it
just
was a
remember that.
it was definitely like an Oprah moment.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And what had happened, again, like I keep using the word magic, but there's literally like no other word to describe it. But as we were there,
Hmm.
Heather and I are there, we're spinning the wheel, like everybody has these entries from sharing photos and, you know, writing reviews and all of this. We have our list going in of who the sponsors were, what the giveaway stuff was. And as we're in the middle of it, people are like, I'm going to give away my course. I'm going to give away one-on-one. And we're like, okay, hang on.
Yeah, make sure we have it.
Yeah, our volunteers are like writing everything down so that we knew who the winners were. But that just, again, like speaks to the heart of the people that are there. I mean,
Mhm.
they were not obligated in any way, shape, or form. And because they're seeing the excitement and what this is after being with them for a whole weekend and actually hearing and seeing what they need,
Yeah.
and then saying, hey, I have something for that and I'm going to give it to you. Like that doesn't happen, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
But
Well,
you're right.
and I can
Everybody
remember
got one.
there were so many like, yeah, talks of like, oh, I've bought this thing from this educator and it was really great. And then that educator like put it in and like those conversations were happening over the weekend. But I can also remember people like winning stuff and being like, I actually already have this.
Mhm.
I want to gift it to someone else, you know, and like it
Mhm.
just there was just so much community there. Yeah, that was really cool to watch. And also you guys literally had a wheel up on the screen, which was fun.
Heck yeah.
You got to hear like the ding,
Yeah,
ding, 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 ding.
it's so great.
Heather
I
has
think I'm gonna
confetti.
drop
Like,
the wheel next time and just have Jamie do it out loud like that for every single one. Who needs a wheel when you have Jamie Fisher?
you know,
Exactly.
a physical one. I'm just going to be like strapped to
Oh
it
yeah,
and go
okay, let's get
around.
it on the plane. Oh, wait, you spinning? That was your, oh, wow.
I'm like
That
the
sounds terrible.
2028.
sounds like a
I
carnival
don't know if I
ride.
can say 8. I don't want to promise anything too soon.
Oh my
Crazy.
gosh. We like to have a good time, basically. All of this to say, it's a good time and you should be there.
Great time.
You should. We had karaoke night,
Heck
which
yeah.
was wild. My introvert self really enjoyed watching everyone else get down with that. But oh my goodness. Um, Man, I feel like so much else happened that I don't even. There's a lot. It's amazing. You guys packed so much great stuff into one weekend.
We did the
And just
plunge in the ocean that year.
oh,
And then
y'all are
last year we
crazy.
did like true cold
Yeah.
plunges. Like
Mm-mm.
it again, that was something we didn't have planned and it happened. We did cartwheels.
The
Like
cartwheels
Amanda,
on
we
the
love you
beach.
with the cartwheels.
If you have not seen that video, go watch Amanda's
Please
cartwheel.
message Amanda.
So good.
Like there's things like this whole talk has been. There are so many things that we plan so much and we bring the educators and attendees who we feel are just going to give and take like what they need and really pour into each other. And then the magic comes that we could not even possibly have thought that like the cartwheel was going to turn into something that everyone there that year will remember the cartwheels. And like everyone will remember jumping into the ocean, even if you didn't jump in, but you just came down and celebrated with
And
everyone. Like
watched.
so much magic. I just love it. Jamie's so right. It's
It
just
was
magic.
so cold too. You got like it was cold outside. And I just remember watch you guys and be like, they're actually insane. This is crazy. Like, no,
It
thank you.
is
I didn't
crazy.
even want to get in the hot tub because it was so cold.
There are so many ways that
Run into the
people
house is too
grow.
long. 5 steps too long.
There's so many ways that people grow that are unexpected just because
Hmm.
of the people in the room.
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
like point blank. Like
Mhm.
there were people that did that the cold plunge this past year for the first time in their lives and they never would have even thought about
Mhm.
doing it before. And it's not just about getting in freezing cold water. Like they had to overcome it mentally and what going through and doing that did for them for the rest of the time gave them more confidence. There's a ripple effect on all of this.
Mhm.
And it's just so cool. It's so cool.
And you guys have done such a great job cultivating that. The link to get on the calendar for your Wednesday calls will be in the show notes, the description, everything, as well as link to purchase a ticket for Conquer 2026. You guys 100% should go grab a ticket and check it out because it's unlike no other conference that I've ever been to. It's absolutely incredible. Jamie and Heather have done such an amazing job cultivating the community but also cultivating an event that the community actually needs and wants. And it's incredible and it's magical. And I don't think you could overuse that word in this scenario because it is true that there is just magic that happens when you guys get your community together. We also will have all of your other links, including the link to the checklist that we talked about earlier and both of y'all's Instagrams and everything. But thank you so much for being here and for sharing your genius and just sharing the heart behind Conquer. I mean, it is, again, it's magic. I don't know any other word to use to describe it, and that I guess maybe we're overusing it, but it just, there's something so special when you guys get together and when you get your community together. So thank you for pouring your heart into that year after year. I'm sure that that is no easy feat every single year to put this together, and I appreciate you for doing it, and I know the attendees do too.
Thank you.
Thank
We
you.
enjoy it. We truly do.